Hi everyone, today I'm back with a new tutorial and today we're going to talk about daily study structures and how to study a new piece. So before playing we could actually think about a warming up, just as after playing we can think about a cooling down. Let's say that we have something in common with athletes, and that is that we're using the same muscles over and over again in a very specific way. So before we're going to the warming up, let's first look at the three types of exercises for musicians. Those are the strengthening exercises, the stretching exercises, and the mobilizing exercises. So first of all, the strengthening exercises are exercises that are excellent for musicians. I would recommend at least 2 or 3 times. They are not so much meant to be done just before practicing, rather on their own. Then the second type of exercise are stretching exercises. These can be done before playing, but I would do them very gently. Then they can be done in little breaks while we're playing. And of course they should be done especially after playing. And then we come to the third category, what I call mobilizing exercises. So this is about mobilizing the joints and also the muscles themselves, warming them up, getting them to move. So for an instrumentalist, the warming up phase actually consists of 2 parts, one without the instrument and one with the instrument. So the first part is the part which is general. We're mobilizing the entire body. We are doing some light stretches, and after that we go to our instrument and we start doing some very gentle exercises. Let's first go to the first part. Okay, so in this warming up phase you have to think that you're preparing the muscles for the heavier duty. While doing these exercises, please don't forget to breathe. You know, breathing is, the essence of everything. When we stop breathing, we start to tense up, and that's exactly what we want to avoid. Also important, go through any exercise in a very smooth and gentle way. You really have to feel where your limits are. Nobody else can do that for you. And the same counts for stretching. If I overstretch, it hurts. And this is only going to be worse. So stretching should feel nice. Great. So in this warm-up we will start with the bigger muscles and we will end up with the smaller muscles. So first we will rotate the hips. We will then stretch our arms above our heads. And then I will do some mobilization of the spine. So this could either be cat-cow of yoga or some qigong movements, which I was taught was called dolphin or turtle movement. Of course, it goes without saying that if you have any specific problem, consult your doctor first. Then we come to the joints, so we're going to move our shoulders backwards and then forward. Rotate our elbows one way and then the other way. And rotate our wrists the other way around. You can do this with closed fists or with open hands, as if it were flamenco. It's actually a great stretch. You can combine the overhead stretch with the flamenco arms, just lifting the arms while doing flamenco, one way and the other. Then the neck, it's an area of a lot of tension, so saying yes while breathing, saying no. Really showing the side of your neck. Then going with the ear to the shoulder and the other ear to the shoulder. Open and close your hands, thus moving the bigger muscle groups. So again, the flamenco hands, you can also just imagine you're playing the castagnette. Then find a gentle stretch for your back, like downward facing dog of yoga. Or facing the wall, placing your hands against it and stretching your back. Open up your chest by clasping your hands together behind your back and pulling them together and downwards. And then we can think about gentle arm, wrist and hand stretches. We can always think about this one, but very gentle. The turning one, the other way around. Stretching against the wall, in a doorway, but very gentle indeed. So we've come to a daily practice program, and actually the first part of this is the warming up. We're starting first with a specific warm-up on the instrument and technique, then our repertoire, and in the end, improvisation. Repertoire and improvisation, you can exchange them if you wish. So first we start with long notes. If you really don't have any time, at least it should have a low note, a middle note, and a high note. If you've got more time, then please go along a scale. Really searching the center of each tone and connecting with your breath control. Next up would be playing notes slurred. So again, I would take scales and just go through them. But it can be something else as well. The good thing about scales is that they're easy to memorize, and anything that we've got memorized, we don't have to think about it anymore. As an extra step, you could go through the book of Kees Boeke, 3 exercises, slurring all the notes. It's a great exercise to notice if your coordination is good, and it combines really different intervals. Another good book is a book by Bart Spanhoven, whose title I'll put up here. Next, we're going to add articulations. One of my favorite books is The Complete Articulator, again by Kees Boeke. This one works on all the combination of T and D. So it starts with D. And then it goes to different combinations of T and D. And then after that it goes to 2 T's and 2 D's, etc, etc. But you can also work on your articulations, again in scales or any other patterns. Then we come to the double articulation, if that's what you're working on. So it can be either diddle 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 diddle, or lede lede lede, or digga 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 digga, which is the same, which is the use of the 2 parts of the tongue. So for this I have a pattern of arpeggios, which I really like. And then I go down chromatically. Etc. But here any arpeggio would be great. So if arpeggios are comfortable for you, great. If not, then you can just practice your double tonguing on simpler patterns, repeated notes for example. And after this, little scales. at this point, if you want to do any studies, that would be the moment. Could be anything. There are a lot of study books out there. So, for example, the Caprice by Quant. If you take them in the original tonality, you can actually practice to transpose. Or the exercises in Advanced Recorder Technique by Heyens or Bowman. And for beginner, intermediate students, I think there are a lot of really fun and good studies out there. Personally, I still think that the book by Steps, Das tägliche Pensum or The Daily Lesson, is a great study book. And also the book by Linde, which is called Neuzeitliche Übungsstücke, so contemporary practice pieces. So now we come to our repertoire, and I really recommend you make a weekly plan of the pieces that you want to work on. So in this way you monitorize and you motivate yourself. And I would also find a fixed moment in the day, so that will be your moment of studying. In this way you will not have the feeling that you don't have time, and you will be less stressed out about it. And then finally, it's the moment to improvise. So this is also a great cooling down on your instrument. Just take it a little bit more easy. So don't place too much strain on your muscles anymore. And be curious, be open. You can even improvise on music that you've been playing, of your repertoire. And it can be completely free, or you can think about more historical genres. So that would be diminutions, ricercate, preludes. There's lots of things to do. Baroque ornamentation. And finally we come to cooling down without the instrument, which is important for your muscles to recover. With the stretches, I would start on the most tense or most painful side, because we tend to stretch longer on the first side. Your stretches should be held for about 20 to 30 seconds, remember. At this point, it's also great to get back to those mobility exercises, because you're using the muscles in another way. And how to work on a new piece? Well, the most important thing is when you're actually going to play a new piece for the first time, it has to be perfect. If you repeat the same mistake a couple of times, your brain will register it. And that first time when we're playing, we're making a new construction inside, a new connection. So this is a new connection also from the brain to the muscle. Therefore, the brain has to be able to follow what the fingers do. And not only the fingers, it's also about the muscles for your breath support. It's also about the tongue. Everything counts, your posture. So that's why I would study slowly, so that my brain can really follow everything. I would isolate the more difficult parts. I would also make an analysis. What's really going on in this music? Why is it written as it is? What does it tell me? Rhythm is an issue. I really believe that it's better to keep a steady rhythm and not making any changes in the rhythm, especially for people who are on a beginner or intermediate level, because if not, the brain is going to register precisely that change in rhythm or tempo. Finally, it's important that we learn to read 1 or 2 measures in advance. So you have to look ahead, you have to know already what you're playing. It's about getting a bigger overview. And with this, we've come to the end of this video. Please like and subscribe, and check out my other tutorials if you haven't already, because there's a lot of information that will connect with the content of today. Thank you so much. See you next time.